wishing to speak tonight on behalf of this? At 6:00 PM. If you would, please silence your cell phones and note there are two exits in the rear of the building and one to my right. If you would, please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would anybody like to come up and speak on behalf of the agenda tonight? Come on up. State your name and address, please.
Just push the button. Push the button. Green light.
Hello. Excellent. Thank you. So I'm Jay Reardon. I live at 8763 Brewerton Road, number 2. My property has been sold to Osita. It's my primary residence. It's going to be part of the Micron campus. I think you guys all know this. I'm here tonight to speak on the agenda items because they all sort of reflect the comprehensive plan. I just wanted to say that I just want to give you some personal reflections on what we generally do when we go into a more advanced area and do a comprehensive plan, because I think we might have missed those steps here in Cicero. The biggest thing is step 0 is to build pride and enthusiasm in the community. I can go to Fairport, which is a community near Rochester, about 6,000 people, and I can buy Fairport t-shirts that don't necessarily have anything to do with the schools everywhere. And I can get a Fairport hat too, because that community has preemptively built up a lot of enthusiasm that pays off in the long run with their comprehensive plan. We did sort of kind of miss that step. And I think, but it's not too late. It could be done now. And a sincere, concerted effort to build community enthusiasm that, again, doesn't have anything to do with the schools, but just states that Cicero is an incredible place to live, a wonderful place to live, the great town government, and so much going for it for the future that it legitimately is one of the best places to locate in the United States going forward. And I think this would be a useful thing to go back on, backtrack a little bit, and just do whatever you can to build that enthusiasm. Because when you do things like put out a request for proposal for comprehensive planning engineers, you're going to get more responses if they have ancillary benefits, like participating in something that is really newsworthy. He's here from Channel 9. This is newsworthy. So that's just a suggestion, but I think it could be really helpful in sticking to the timeline that you've set out, which is a pretty aggressive timeline. But I'll have more comments about that in the future. The second thing we often do when we're moving into a community that needs a comprehensive plan is a moratorium, as comprehensive as possible. The thing about the moratorium is that it really shows that now you're really gonna get to brass tacks. You're gonna get down to work and you're gonna get the job done with this comprehensive plan. How long is it gonna take for a large multifamily developer, or even a commercial developer like Circle T with all their bang, bang, bang noise on Taft Road to wait a year, 18 months? That's okay in these circumstances. If you don't do that, if you don't build that enthusiasm and do the moratorium, you might end up like New Hempstead, New York, and the town of Rockland. And I don't know if many of you are familiar with that case that came out last month in January out of there, where they shot down the town's entire comprehensive plan because of a lack of community involvement, community participation. This is case law now. Be happy to forward this decision, the legal decision, to any of you that might want it, might be overturned on appeal, but it's case law now. And, you know, if you don't build that enthusiasm and if you don't take the steps to really promote public involvement, then there is that risk out there that the whole comprehensive plan could be scuttled later on. And I think you want to avoid that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we're here tonight to discuss the recent proposed revisions to the Onondaga County Development Agency's, also known as OSIDA, Uniform Tax Exemption Policy. So let's roll back a few weeks. I received a call from Clay supervisor asking if I received a letter in the mail. It's a 17-page document from Onondaga County OSIDA, which I have not and did not. After receiving the 17-page document, I found OSIDA's proposal to implement a pilot program for market rate, affordable and senior living apartments with tax exemptions up to 12 years. This includes the county, school, and towns, and we have no say. I had the opportunity to speak with the executive director on the phone, and then I met with him today. And the consensus is that we agree to disagree. I want everyone to know that I am not against housing, but I stand firm that the residents should not have to make up the difference with these projects. And for the media tonight, I'll leave you with this. I firmly believe that when Micron starts to develop, the rest will follow. Therefore, there should be no need for pilots for housing. And I'll let the board members here speak if you'd like.
I'll make my comments when we do the discussion on the next agenda item
Sure.
of the proposed legislation.
Okay. No one else? No? Okay. Number 3. Okay. Go ahead, John.
I move the adoption resolution to set a public hearing for February 14th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. to consider changes to Chapter 210 of the Town Code in relation to zoning districts. The purpose of these changes is to create a new zoning district for large multifamily developments and to modify existing zoning districts as necessary.
Second. Discussion.
So with the changes to the pilot, to OSIDA's pilot rules coming, and with anticipated need, we have a need for housing now anyway, independent of Micron. Talk to realtors, talk to anybody in the rental market. It's very hard to find someplace to rent. Prices are ridiculous. The housing market is very difficult. So with the anticipated interest in this development, both as a result of Micron and as a result of market forces, and after considering the pilot changes, we had a discussion that we really need to make some legislative changes to our town code to implement a new zoning district for larger multifamily developments, and also for developments of a certain scale, a special use permit. Excuse me. See, we appreciate and we understand the concerns of the county government as regards the need for housing, again, for Micron and in general. And we share many of those concerns. However, as local officials, as town officials, we have to balance those concerns against the impact that these developments, these projects will have on the town's infrastructure, which we pay for, the police, the roads, plowing, et cetera, and consider whether or not and to what extent there is going to be an increase in tax revenue to offset the increased burden on our infrastructure and on our resources. So a special use permit for projects of a certain size will enable us to consider, among other things, that factor, which is going to be key for us. It may make sense in some projects. It may not make sense in others. Obviously, you want to take these on a project by project basis. And also, we will also add additional criteria for special use permit, for example, for architectural standards, to make sure that when and if we do allow these projects, that they are built to the appropriate standards, that their aesthetic quality and the amount of green space and other aesthetic considerations are going to be in keeping with what we would like to see for Cicero. And so that if there is a pilot granted, once the pilot ends and they are paying property taxes, that they are paying property taxes based on a well-planned, well-developed, high-quality piece of property. And it's important for us, with decreasing amounts of developable land in Cicero, and also with still some very desirable land in Cicero, for us to make sure that what does get built is of a high quality. and something that is going to look good for generations and that we are going to feel good about when we see it. So given the need to protect the resources of the land that we have left, and given the need to be able to have some control over what gets developed and the impact it has on our resources and our infrastructure, I think this is an important step for us to make.
Anyone else?
Counselor Carp, I couldn't have said it any better than you said it. You have an eloquent way with words. To me, I viewed it as, you can react or you can respond, right? And this, to me, setting of the public hearing is a response, right? It's a response for the residents that currently live in the town of Cicero, right? That's our main concern. So that's where I come from on this. Again, Counselor Carp, without rephrasing everything he said, I 100% agree with what you have to say.
And we aren't the only ones who are forging forward, and there's other towns that are as well following suit. So there will be some more talk about this with them at a later date. All set? Okay.
Good vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Push to vote no or abstain? Passed. Anybody else like to speak tonight? With that being said, we'll close the meeting.
Move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for your time, everyone.
He offered it.
No, no, I think.